Troy Galloway is a construction manager and consultant, commercial and residential builder, and a certified inspector for all commercial and residential buildings. And now, here is About the House with Troy Galloway.
Well, hello, folks. Welcome back to About the House. This is your audio university of knowledge on everything about your home, from construction, remodeling, home improvement, everything building related. And what's so awesome about the house or this radio show is that we have a forever library with our podcast and our YouTube videos. And I would love for you to go back. Just like I said, it's an audio university. So you're not going to get it all at one time. Go back and listen and re-listen. And when you do go to our YouTube videos, hey, hit like and subscribe, because it's not just a radio show I put out here. We also have tons of building science videos that I know you love. People love them all the time. I hear a great response about them. But I am really excited to have everybody back here today. And this is Troy Galloway. I am your humble host, owner of Galloway Building Services. Just like this radio show, we're one of a kind. There isn't another company that provides the services that we do for folks throughout the Midwest every day. We help people with construction consulting. If you have any questions about whether your job is being done correctly or not, give us a call. As a matter of fact, we're doing a lot more of these every day. I think the reason is because there's a lot of contractors that are brand new into the business world, and they may have great intentions, but they're not necessarily getting everything done the way you think they should be. We do new construction inspections. What that means is if you are getting any new construction done, from building a brand new home or putting a remodeling in, or maybe you're just doing a brand new kitchen and you want to make sure what you're being done is correct. Codes is one thing, but making sure that it's being done right is another. Codes don't care if them cabinets are upside down or not. They only want to make sure they're safe. Well, that's what you hire us for, making sure that is what you want. And what is supposed to be there is there. Yes, we also do commercial and residential inspections, meaning that if you're buying or selling either your home or you're buying a commercial building, you want to make sure what it is that you're buying, the good, bad, and the ugly. We also do, sadly enough, construction conflict resolution and expert witnessing for any kind of litigation. Nobody wants to end up there, but sometimes we just can't help it. And if it does, you're going to need somebody in your corner, and that's what we do. We come in there, we represent you. We can even help you bring in attorneys, all the other professional experts that you need, so as that when you go to court, if you have to go to court, you have all your ducks in line and you're ready to go. We also are doing some of the ones we do I'm kind of not really excited about because I know it's hurtful, but you need us and you need these things. We do, say if you're getting a divorce and one of the parties want to keep the house and the other party has to pay for the house. Well, the party that has to pay, they don't want to pay for any more than what the house is worth. And when you get an appraisal, all you're getting is just a general assessment of what all the other homes, kind of like yours, is in the neighborhood, not necessarily the condition. So what makes us so unique is I have been a builder and a building engineer, and I also got my master carpenter card for now 40-some years. We come in, inspect it, write down everything, log everything that needs to be done, and put a price tag on it of repair. That way, when you do get your appraisal, you hand this over to the appraiser. He deducts the cost of all the repairs and takes care of that for you. So like I said, we've been doing this now. I have been for over 42 years. Our motto of our company, and I know you hear it all the time on our videos and all our shows, but I just love it because it is true. We're making sure you're getting what you pay for. The job is being done right, and you're not getting ripped off. So you give us a call. Office number is 636-394-3112. And My cell phone number, if you need to reach me directly for whatever purpose or a question, is always 314-520-6655. But if you're wanting to schedule a job and have us come out, call the office, 636-394-3112. They take care of all of that. Well, folks, we're going to do another show here today on the building components of your home. We just finished a great one here the other day on windows. So I wanted to come on here. We want to go into doors. Now, doors. What do you think? Well, that's kind of boring. You know, I kind of thought so too. I love putting them in because it takes a special art to put them in. To do a good door hanging as a special art to do. I got to tell a real quick story here on this. So years ago when I was a young man and I first started working in the construction field, we was over remodeling on a home. And this owner of the home, he said, come on over here. I want to show you this doors. He said, your boss put this door in when he was about your age when he built my home. Look how this door still works. He was so excited. This door didn't sway on its own. It stayed open. It stayed closed. It latched. And what it really was is it was about how the quality of the door installation. So when we do our door video, which we're going to probably do a video on doors, I'm going to show you how we do that. Because if you have the quality in mind when you're building a room addition or something, then you're going to want to make sure that the little things like the doors, the big things are absolutely going to be done. So I had my boss to show me how to do these doors, and I just love to hang his doors forever then. And I teach all the guys on how to do it. But doors. We have so many different types of doors. I knew a lot of them, and but I didn't know all of them, and we're not going to really get into every single door out there because, man, oh man, there's just too many, and your eyes will glaze over while listening to the radio here. But we're going to focus upon some of the doors that we all see every day. And we're going to talk about the qualities of the good and the bad of them, and even in the installation, and also a little bit about the upkeep and taking care of them. So let's kind of get started right here. And so when I was doing my research for the radio show here today, I pulled up doors and history. Well, it never even dawned on me about a history. Heck, I figured we always had doors since we left caves, but I guess not. So I read here, the earliest recorded doors happens to appear in pictures of paintings and in Egyptian tombs. And they was double doors, meaning they would swing both ways. And that actually wasn't so much about shutting doors or privacy. It was for the afterlife. Crazy enough. Not that I don't believe in the afterlife, but I didn't even think of a door acting that way. But that's exactly what these original pictures of the oldest paintings that we can find. So, and now when they did have doors start doing doors, and especially down into our desert type environments like Egypt. They was actually, because it was so dry, they was just more of a big slabs put together. So they was just like they didn't have components, they was just a big old slab of a door. And they use that now. You'll see when we move up into, which we're going to talk about a little bit of this as we go into the doors. But when you get into up into the northern parts of the world, or southern parts, or where the moisture's content's more, you'll notice that we have doors that are parts, and they're called panel doors. But we'll just jump right into panel doors. What is a panel door? This is in building. This is more of our upper grade interior and exterior doors, but mostly in our interior doors. And what it is inside a cabinet's the same thing. We'll talk about a cabinet show later, which I actually have a great cabinet show in the past here that you could pull up on or about the house on one of the podcasts that you could pick up and listen to. But a panel door. So what it is they're just a frame, and then they put these individual panels Actually, they put them in loose. Believe that? Loose in between these stiles and frames, buck frames of these doors. And the reason is that by this moving, it keeps the door from warping, or the best that it can, keeps the door from warping. Really great idea. So, and boy, you can really get some pretty cool looking panels, and you see them on your exterior and you'll see them on your interior doors. Now, on an exterior door, they're kind of loose, but they're also sealed pretty tight. So they're made to move, but you're never going to see these little panels move because it's just so minor of movement, but especially on your exterior door. But when you see a paneled door on your exterior when you're getting ready to buy a house, think about looking in the corners, looking on to see if any kind of crackage is happening, because of that movement can create that. So you want to make sure that that's happening. Now, some of these panels can actually be very ornamental, and a lot of them have a lot of glass. And of course, we're all used to that, but panel glass. We see a lot more of that on an interior door, like our office doors or something, but you also see that on our older homes that we used to have for our entrance doors. And you'll also see them like on our back doors, where the half glass, half door. I am not a big fan of a glass door on the back of your home. And the reason I'm not, just my opinion, but because the glass can be broken into easily, much easier than a solid door. And naturally, they just break the glass in the back of the door, open up the lock, and bingo, they're in your home. So think about that too, when you get to glass doors. But anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Boy, they are, like I said, they are just absolutely gorgeous. Now we're going to kind of move into what we see a lot of out there. It's very familiar with is our steel. We call them steel doors, or metal doors. And let's just talk about the metal doors for a little bit. You can get them what we call embossed, or what they do is they have the panel look inside, or them are more of an upgrade of our steel doors, and they look like they could be like our panel doors, but they're embossed, or they're printed inside. They're stamped out actually on both sides. So what a steel door is normally because we got different applications which we're going to get into, but they are two pieces of metal adhered to a wood frame that goes around all four sides, but then in the center of it, they have insulation. Now, that insulation acts as a twofold. For one, that insulation can help deaden sound and insulation. But it also, actually, I guess, is three things it does for you, because also what it does is it gives them two metal slabs, veneers on the outside, something to go up against to make that door solid. So when you knock on the door, you don't hear a hollow door, which we'll talk about hollow doors in a little bit. But that's one of the great things about the metal doors. Now, we put a lot of steel metal doors on our exterior because they're cheaper than a wood door. They have longevity and a lot less maintenance than a wood door. But what they also have is that they can be painted. And so when you paint them doors, you can literally, if you got a great painter, and not everybody calls themselves a painter or a real painter. Sorry about that, guys out there, guys and gals, but painting's an art of itself. But you can actually get them doors wood grained. I tell you what, I've literally had to peck on some of them doors to see if they're wood or not. Some of them guys could do such a great job of wood graining them. You can't tell. What's really awesome about them metal doors like that is that you can have your outside look like wood. You can have your inside fit your decor, if wood is not your decor for the interior. Now, that wood buck frame that goes around that metal, I want to go back to, we was talking about the insulation, so I'll back up just a tad bit. And that wood frame that goes around your doors, that actually, what that is it's a thermal break between the two metal slabs, so as that it adds to the insulation. And if you get any kind of swelling or any kind of movement, gives you a little bit of area to do some sanding or planing the door. So if you got a little bit of rubbing going on, something you're going to see on your upper end doors also, the threshold. Now that's that part that you step across, the threshold. And it's kind of got the little metal pan at the bottom of your door. But you'll see, a lot of times you'll see that little piece of wood that goes across it, that your door sweeps across. And you'll see you'll see screws. Actually, they're not little tiny. They're probably about a 1/2 inch, 3/4. And they're screws. And what that is an adjustable threshold. So, as we are in the Midwest, we have some wild, crazy weather. And sometimes it's really dry in the winter. Sometimes it's really humid. I mean, really nasty humid here in the Midwest in the summertime. Well, your doors shrink and swell, as the different climates happen. So if you ever see any kind of gap at the bottom of your door, no worries. Adjust that threshold. They just up and down. It's really a great idea. I don't know who come up with it, but it's been out here for the last 40 years. I've seen them for that many years. Now, your cheaper doors are not going to have it. They're just going to have your threshold. No worries, with that. There's other applications, and we'll talk about that, and we have talked about that in some of our saving in money and energy cost by taking care of that. But we're not going to get into that today because they are, this is about doors, and I got a whole lot to cover here today. And so anyway, just think about that wood grain. I think you really like that. But that is a great way to save you, help you with getting that wood look with the metal price. Oh, something else too that I'm seeing. The steel doors. Now, there are companies out there. You can just get a smooth slab, not embossed, all right? Just smooth slab door, a metal door, wood too, but metal. And then what they do is they'll literally come in here and cut that out in the center of your door, and they'll put in some breathtaking looking glass inside of it. I mean, and really, it's a great way to retrofit an existing door. And but make sure you get a good company that's got a good reputation to do that, because they are cutting your door and cutting the center out of it. So they're compromising it. But by the time they put that glass in, my stars, you would never know in a million years that somebody had done it. It's just that beautiful. All right, so while we're kind of in the metal doors, we're going to bounce over here to fire-rated doors. So what's a fire-rated door? Well, you can have a fire-rated door. Of course, naturally, it's any kind of door that retards a fire for any length of time. It's a fire-rated, not fireproof. There are fireproof doors, but we don't normally put them necessarily in your home. They would be more into a secure area where you just cannot have a fire get into it. But they are also airtight, so that's not something that we normally put in our residential homes. But a fire-rated door is a fire-resistant doors, and they normally will go from, and actually it's a code issue, you'll see them between our garage and our home. And they say garages where car fires can happen, and because if a car fire happens, or that's also where we keep a lot of our flammables, our gasoline for our lawnmowers, our paint thinner, things like this that's out there in the garage. Well, if you have a fire, you can see just how fast that can go. And so along with our fire-rated drywall, which we'll talk about we're going to make a whole show on fireproofing at another time. But there's different levels of fire-rated doors. And what I mean by rated, we got 20-minute doors, we got 30-minute doors, we got even 3-hour doors that will take before it burns through. It's a code issue. But even if it wasn't code, you would want that. Now, glass in a fire in your door going between your garage and your home, which a lot of our older homes have, is not a fire-rated door. Naturally, when the glass gets so hot, it's going to crack and bust, and poof, the fire's in your home and it just sucks right on through. Once that has that exposed, I mean, it's like a fireball that blows through that home. So that definitely doesn't work. We also, some people don't realize that they're supposed to have a fire-rated door, so they'll put a nice decorative interior door that's going between the two, and most of them are hollow core, and naturally, they don't have any kind of fire rating at all, but people don't know it. So when we do a building inspection or a home inspection, one of the things that's required, it's actually on our takeoff list or our inspection list, is there a fire-rated door? Now, you can't always tell what a fire-rated door is just by looking at it. If it's a solid core wood door, that definitely has a certain amount of fire rating because it takes a while for that door to actually burn all the way through. But most of the time, because of the weight, we don't normally put them. That'd be an exterior door, by the way, between there. The reason people put interior doors between the garage and the house is they don't really see that. They see that being in the interior, right? They don't see that being the exterior, but it is. Now, metal doors are, because that's why I'm coming from metal doors over to fire-rated doors. Metal doors is what we normally have. How do you know? Which I got a video of that, and you'll see a good quick video on how to see if a door is being fire rated or not. Because if it's a fire, now when we do code inspections, on new construction, there's a little tag that's on the inside of the door. It's usually on the hinge side. The hinges is the part that holds the door and it lets the door hang and open and close. That's the hangers, you might say, the hinges. But look on that interior side, and there's a little metal piece that's usually gives about the fire rating, who it's rated by, and that's what we're looking for when we do the inspections. That'll tell you whether or not it's a fire-rated door. Now, if it's an existing home and the door's been painted, a lot of people just paint right over that. They don't even think about it. They say it's ugly, they don't, and so they paint that. But if you can see that there is that metal plate right there that tells you, not going to tell you how long it's fire-rated, but it's going to tell you that you got a fire-rated door. So that's another great way of testing, acknowledging what you have for the door. Oh, and like I said, we can get some of these steel doors up to 3 hours. Folks, honestly, fires are so devastating that I would highly recommend that you get the best fire-rated door that you can. Codes are minimal. Not every code, but most of the codes here in the Midwest are 20-minute doors. They figure by 20 minutes your smoke alarms went off and you got a chance to evacuate out of the home. So we also got a 3/4 hour rating, and that would be the minimum in my world that you would do, 45 minutes that you would want to make sure. Now, say I had that hollow interior door, right? I have that door here. And I don't want to go buy another door to replace this with. I might not have the time even, before closing. How can I make a regular interior door a fire-rated door? It's really simple. You just go get 2 pieces of metal. Aluminum, is not as good as, a tin slab. Really, most of our steel doors are tin with a little steel in it, but we call them steel, whatever. But anyway, so we want to make sure that just take 2 pieces of metal and sandwich your door. Put one on the outside, one on the inside, and bingo, you got you a fire-rated door, and that's going to be every bit 20 more minutes before that'll ever burn through. So just think about that. It's kind of a neat way. It's kind of not necessarily so pretty in an upper-end home, but you know what? If you got a landlord home, rental home that you're renting out to folks, that might be just the ticket for you right there. That's a great little tip here. Does garage doors, now we're talking a different type of door. That's where your car comes in and out. Does that have to be fire rated? No. You don't have to have that fire rated at all. Sometimes we like to see them insulated, because we like to retain the heat if we like to work in our garage. But them are, they do not have to be. So you can get whatever. You can have a wood door or anything there with doors or glass. It's all the same. Just fine for that. But we're not going to work on it too. There's like I say, so many doors. We're not even going to talk about garage doors. We'll have that on another show. Now here's one that's really getting popular. Not a fire rated door. This is just a nice, beautiful interior door. We're not seeing a lot of these in the Midwest yet, but I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of these. And they're PVC doors, polyvinyl chloride. Isn't that awesome? Remember we talked about that on our radio show about windows, PVC windows? We got PVC doors now, and they're very economical. That's why people love them. And what people really like about them is, for one, they're termite proof. They're weather resistant. So if you got like in a sauna or a bathroom or something like that where you get a lot of moisture or a possibility of a lot of moisture, that's a great place to put them so you don't have that kind of issues. They're, like I said, they're wetness resistant. They're almost indestructible. Indestructible. Well, you think, well, what do you mean, Troy? Indestructible. How many times have we seen a hole in the door? Well, normally holes in the doors are normally from arguments between people. And somebody gets mad and puts their fist through the door. Well, they're not going to do that with the PVC door, and because they're just that much resistant. Oh, I got to tell a story on myself. I'm going to get probably a little trouble on this one. But years ago, I was chasing the wife through the house, having fun, teasing. You know how you are when you're young and you're still all in love and you're chasing your girl around. She runs to the bathroom real quick and she shuts the door. We was over at the father-in-law's house, and she shuts that bathroom door real fast. Well, I couldn't stop. And I went right through the door. My hand went right to the door. Her folks swore up and down that I put my fist through that door. But no matter what their daughter told him, no, Troy was innocent. But he never did anything like that. That's just how them cheaper doors are. And we're going to talk about some of them cheaper doors as we move on to the other doors. Now, because that's what they basically had, a cheap door. That's my excuse, okay? So anyway, PVC door. They come in multiple colors, and just like your vinyl siding, just like your vinyl windows, that color isn't just on the outside. It goes all the way through the door. So if you get a scratch on it, or something scratches it, you're hauling furniture through there, you scratch your door a little bit, you don't have to worry about having a big old mark on it where you got to repaint it. This is great. And they're also great for having the color matches all the way through the house. Because sometimes when the painters run short of one batch of paint and they go to the same color, but they go to another can, you can get some color differences. So you don't, this is a great way for consistency for those who, I'm a little colorblind. I don't see it, but I've heard people talk about it and it gets them upset. They're not always so easy to match for your interior or your exterior door, your entry doors. But most of the time, we paint our interior doors different color than our entry door anyway. And with our steel door or whatever door, we can do that. We can really do some neat things with that. Well, anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool. So now I'm going to stay on exterior doors just for a minute. Because I kind of bounced over to the PVC door because I thought I was so excited over them, as that was kind of a door system I've not seen before. But we also have on our exterior doors. So we got a wooden door, we have metal doors, we also have a fiberglass doors. Now fiberglass is that you got for cost wise. Steel's cheapest. Fiberglass is next, and beautiful wood is the most expensive, naturally. So, but the fiberglass doors, They are absolutely breathtaking doors. They are a high-quality doors. They have a lot of the same kind of attributes as what the PVC door does as far as the color going through them. They're very well insulated doors. I love them doors. But here's a tip. And write this down. Take a minute, back this tape up or back this show up so you could write this down, because this is worth. It's going to save you thousands of dollars if you on your door if you follow this. If you have a fiberglass door, front door, back door, makes no difference. And if it's towards the south or towards the southwest, where it gets a place that gets a lot of direct sun, we love to put our storm doors on. And a storm door basically is like your storm window. It's an exterior door that goes over your other door, and it allows you to keep your door open so you can have a breeze or whatever. But it also helps make it a little more airtight. But if you have a fiberglass door and you have a storm door on the front of it, make sure that you have it's a vented storm door. You got to have a vent in it so you can let air into it. If you don't, what happens if you got a window in that door? Most of our doors got a little bit of a glass window in it. That fiberglass will warp, and your glass will drop, literally drop. I've literally seen them drop down into the windows, down into the door, between the door frame or slabs of the door, so as that it almost disappears. Don't have a solid glass door in front of your fiberglass storm door. You want to make sure that what you have is a vented door to let some air into it. Or if you can't have that application, just don't use the fiberglass. Or don't have a window and don't have a beautiful looking window inside of your door. So there is that tip right there. Now, that tip isn't just my tip. Of course, we experienced this for the last 30-some years since fiberglass has been around. But if you read your fine print of homeowner maintenance on your doors, then you'll see they say the same thing. All righty, let's kind of move back into our interior doors. So we was on the PVC. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our different types of flush doors. What's a flat panel door? We call it, a lot of us do out here in the world, flat panel. And they come in, we used to have beautiful birch flat panels. In other words, they don't have any kind of decoration on them other than the looks themselves. Basically they're just two pieces of veneer, like a paneling on both sides of the door. We have, I call it Luan. Some people popular, whatever, they're just that type of a wood. Them are for painting. They don't really have any kind of prettiness to the wood grain or anything. They are the cheapest doors that you could buy. They're hollow core, kind of like what I was telling you about with the in-laws earlier, right? And luckily them, anyway, we won't go there no more. So with that, you also have the birch door. Now, birch slab doors, that birch is so beautiful, and they really got some great looking, unique looking grain patterns, and you'll see them stained. And then lacquered over or polyurethaned over, so they're nice and shiny, and also so as it keeps the moisture stuff too. These they're still hollow core door, but they're an upgrade from the others, a little more expensive than the other type of doors. Then what we do is then we go back into our then we can move into our embossed or panel doors, we'll say. Now, we got some Masonite doors, and that's a brand name, by the way. Wilson Art, Masonite. There's other types of different kinds of brands, so I ignore the brand as much as that they are more of a solid door. They're an upgrade door. They really hold up well. They're more of an upper end interior. There again, They're not really made for wood grain or anything. They're made for painting applications. You'll see, and they really are nice. You'll see more of them in your upper end doors. But then you got your lower end hollow core type embossed kind of panels. Now, these are not like we talked about where the panels move. These are embossed, or they're in when they make the mold for these exterior slabs, they're just embossed right inside of them. And we can get 4 panels, 2 panels, and we got all kinds of different names for them, arch doors. There's a wide range of beautiful interior doors that you can have. And, the PVC has these same designs, so you can get these same things with the PVC door, but they will really, when you're building your home, you want to make sure first you get something that really blends for the style of what it is at your decor. But you also want to make sure that with the type of environment that you live in, that the door is compatible with that. Now, one of the drawbacks that I find with some of these hollow core doors is if they rub on the floor or if they rub on the frame, then we call it delaminating, and the skins will actually start pulling off the front and the back. So when you're doing an inspection, you might just see how much is if there's anything loose on the veneer. Just think they are just 2 pieces of paneling stuck together and glued to a wood jammer frame around it. You can't see any of the glue or anything, and they're very, very nice. And there's we're not going to get into doorknobs or anything like that, but man, there's some really tremendous looking handles out there. If you like that antique look, you can get that. You like stuff that doesn't show fingerprints, or oil stains or anything, that comes off your hands. You can also get them kind of handles, lever handles, all kinds of, there's just all kinds of neat looking handles. So you want to think about all of that whenever you're doing your work, and you want all your handle sets to kind of match. So them are some different types of doors. Now, we're going to move into some other doors here, and I want to talk about our pocket doors, because this is one of my pet peeves, pocket doors. I love a good pocket door, but I for years I wondered, how come when I'm down here in the older part of town and I got a house that's 100 years old and their pocket door's still hanging, but when I hang this brand new door, it don't last a year. It comes off its track. First, what is a pocket door? A pocket door is that door that goes in between the wall. Like we put them in bathrooms. It's a great place for when you have a door that hasn't the opportunity to swing open or closed. And they just slide right into the wall. They disappear. That's beautiful. But what's the problem with that is that if they come off that track, they are a pain to get repaired. And so what's the secret? Why did them 100-year-old doors work and these new ones don't very long? It's the hardware. It is simply no more than a quality hardware on them doors. So when you are doing pocket doors, ask your builder for an upgraded hardware set. If he doesn't know what it is, then do a little research, get it for yourself. Folks, this is going to save you so much time, so much hassle. You will dearly, dearly love this. So think about that when it comes to our pocket doors. Why the old ones work, why the new ones don't. You can still get high quality. The door slab's the same. It's the hardware. Now, we're seeing another type of door that's really getting popular, and that is, I call them barn doors. They actually on a slide, and they're a slab. They come in several different kind of designs out there, but they kind of got that barn door look where they slide back and forth, and you see that big bar up on top, and they got big rollers and everything. Wow, they're awesome. They're really great. They work good. We see them a lot of times in in master bedrooms, going into the bathrooms. That's a popular place for them. Some closets, we see them in like that, foyer closets, anywhere. But the disadvantage of that is just picture, okay, so I have a 36-inch door, right? 36 inches wide. Now, I'm going to have a rod that goes 6 foot because naturally that door has to stay on that rolling rod all the way to the other side. So when the door is open. So that is one of the limitations to these types of doors. But if you got the opportunity, the place fits, man, they are really worth it. Take a few moments. Good point to remember. On our bathroom doors, no matter what kind of bathroom door it is, by code, it's supposed to have a lock on it. Now you say, how do I lock these doors? Simple. Oh, I'm going to give you another tip. This same tip goes for old antique doors that you don't want to replace the hardware on. You just get a simple eye hook. Remember them? The hook and eye bolt that you just hook that right into it. That's all the code you need. The code says a locking door. It doesn't have to be, a door knob lock. So that way you can save that antique lock or handle set on your old doors and your new doors. You're retrofitting like this. You can make that happen. You got to have them on all bathrooms. Oh, I guess they just think by code you can't have other people coming in to bother you. I don't know. Kind of seems like a dumb code to me, but that's not my job. I don't make them. Oh, other types of doors that we're dealing with. Oh, let's move into the bedrooms. So we got a bypass door. Okay, that is probably the most common door assembly that we have. Bypass. Them are two doors that literally will slide by each other. Now, the thing with that is if I got, say, a 6 foot opening, you got 2 3-foot slabs, you're only going to have 3 foot open at a time because they'll actually be standing one's in front of the other. That's why I want to do these videos, because it'll actually do a better job of describing this. But they actually slide one in front of the other. And they're supposed to have a little door guide at the bottom of it to keep them from moving back and forth. That's another code issue, actually. They want you to have that guide at the base of them. Well, dadgummit, them things break all the time. What a pain. I mean, I never had a rental home yet that I ever had to go back in. I didn't have to replace that. Wasn't anybody did anything wrong. They just crap. That's all I can say about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just find them doors despising. I hate them bypass doors. I hate them with a passion because of the simple hanging bypass doors, because they always come off. If you get too much stuff in your closet, they protrude out at the base or something. They fall off the hinges. Oh, they're easy to put back on, but you can rehang them. But also, too, they're heavier, so that you have to readjust them sometimes because they'll start sagging on you. But anyway, they're a good, cheap way of doing it. But here's a better. If you really like that bypass look, which, now, and you're going to see why I'm saying that. You get like a lot of our mirror doors. They're bypass. Full mirror doors in our closets, and they go back and forth, and one sits in front of the other, or they both expand and shuts the whole and closes the whole closet or whatnot. But they also, what makes these so great is that they have a guide on the bottom, a full track guide, not just 2 little pieces of plastic for the guide, a full track. So when these doors slide back and forth, like a patio door, which we're going to go back to the exterior and hit a little bit about our patio doors or exterior doors, but they'll literally stay in there for long periods of time. I love them. People love them. They look really good. And the right applications, a mirror door, it really enhances the look of some rooms. I'm not an interior decorator. If you're working with your interior decorator, they'll guide you in what looks best for you. But just think about that. So if you want that bypass door, then you want to do that. So we're going to move over here to the next type of closet doors, but we also use them for, sometimes I see them in pantries and stuff, bifold doors. Now, what is that? You'll be a guide that goes across, and they actually bend in the middle. And then they slide off to the side, and they bend in the middle. So if you got a place that you really can't have a full swinging door in it, right? Because of limitations, bouncing off the walls or something, or it's at the wrong angle. Bifold doors are fabulous. They really hang in there well. They're great. You'll love them because of the way they hold in there for you. And, they don't come off the track very rarely, but bifold. And these bifold doors will work just absolutely fine in your closets. If you've got two of them put together, you can put two of these together. You can put three of them together. You can gang them up. So think about that. Great alternative to a bypass door. Of course, you can see I don't like the bypass door, so there's no need to go any further with that. All right, now we'll move over to some other doors. And this door here, some of us call them stable doors, barn doors, even some people call them Dutch doors. What is that kind of a door? Well, I don't recommend them to be used on the exterior, but I have seen them on the exterior, and they have been used in the past. But the reason but what that is, it's a half door. The top and the bottom operates either together when they're latched together or separately. So you can actually open up the top half of your door, and the bottom half is still there. So if you can, we don't see a lot of them anymore. They used to be very popular, but they're a great door to have for special applications where you want a little bit of privacy, or maybe you want them in the kid's bedroom. So you can open up that top half of that door. You can hear the kids, you can see the kids, but yet the bottom half stays secured, shut. So as that, there'll be so they can't come in or out. Great application to do that with. Reason I don't really like them for an exterior door, even though they're out there, you got that seam in between these top and the lower parts of the door. And because of that allows for anytime we got extra cracks or gaps, that leaves us opportunities for air infiltration, less energy efficient. We don't want that. All right, so we're kind of moving back out around our doors. And we're going to talk a little bit about the exterior doors right before we wrap this show up. Now, we have the patio door, the sliding door, we call it. They're pretty much common, that's our cheapest of our, bigger, expansive glass. Normally we use them in big openings because we want that light coming in. Beautiful. But they have a tendency to to sag, need adjusting. These can be problems, if you don't know how to adjust your door. Of course, the screens on them things are notorious for being pieces of junk. They never really hang in there, but they're a great alternative, and they're the cheapest, and they work well. But we also have a door that I like even more, and that is a swinging door. Now you can have two panels doors. They look like two doors side by side with full glass. Now, you can have one that operates by itself, or you can have it where both doors open. The one that opens the singular and the other piece of glass is stationary, that's your more energy efficient. It's kind of like, hey, think of a single. I remember we talked about single hung windows in our last radio show, on windows. Well, just think of it as a single hung door. Single hung window, same thing, more energy efficient. It's a little cheaper. They still let all the glass in. They never wear out, because it's singing on hinges. And then what I call a theatrical door, where both of the doors open. Now, this can be interior or exterior. I really love these doors because if I'm moving in furniture, I'm moving in big pieces of anything in and out of the house, or if I really want some fresh air blowing through my house, I can open that up with screens on the outside, and both doors open, and they are just fabulous. They're not as energy efficient, I grant you, but you kind of think about what am I trading off for one versus the other. So there are some of the doors that we have out there, some of the applications that we have. One tip to make sure that you think of on all our glass doors all our glass doors are to be tempered glass. Tempered glass we talked about also in the last show, and it's a type of glass, it's a safety-proof glass. And there's a little emblem on the end of the corner. You look real hard, you can see it. You can get that. In all our glass, we can also always get our low-E argon gas filled, all the insulation, just like our windows, and then we talked about that also before, so we're not going to get into a lot of that. But these are great ways of making sure that it's a well-insulated door. It's very important that you get a well-insulated door for saving efficiency, saving energy. All right. Now, one or the other, I'm going to give you a little tip here on our hinged exterior doors. Actually, it's the same great tip that I would use on my interior doors, folks, and that is on your hinges. I would love to see a 3-inch screw and each hinge at the top of each hinge. So you got 3 hinges, right? And you got your screws that go into it. Them little screws normally only go just through the frame itself. They're only like an inch, at best. At best, that's all. Well, you take that 3-inch screw, right? Here's a good tip here. And you take that 3-inch screw, especially, and you do this to your interior, exterior doors, and you put that into your jamb. That goes all the way through your door, right into your wood jamb, your buck frame, your stud, your framing there, and that will hold that door in place. And then you can now give you a little bit of adjustment on your exterior doors for safety. We also have full steel jams locking area, so where your strike plate is, instead of just being that little piece of metal you see, which is on most of the doors, that little piece of metal that's all it locks. Hey, you know how easy that is to kick in? We see it on TV shows all the time. You get one of these wraparound steel lock container sets like this. You're not going to be hard at kicking that in. I don't care if you're Bruce Lee. You ain't coming in that there. It's not coming down. It's that stout. Now, Bruce Lee probably kick in another hole in the door, but not everybody's Bruce, right? Okay. Anyway, folks, I hope some of this has been very informational. Maybe heads up. We'll be doing a video on doors where we can actually talk about hanging, how to measuring, framing, the whole works. And it's just going to be a whole series just on doors. So, or a whole program just on doors. We're going to have a series of windows, doors, etc. But that'll just be one of them. And I think you really will enjoy that. And you follow these tips, then that'll help you be the best hanger in town, door hanger in town. But right now, I think you know more about doors listening to this one show than I would say the majority of 3 or less years of carpentry. Our journeymans have to know this stuff. And I guarantee you probably know more than 99% of any home inspector that comes out there that goes into your home and pretends he's actually knowing what he's looking at. So, folks, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you really appreciate it. I really enjoyed talking about this to you. I really didn't know how exciting it would be, but when I started doing the research, I just got all wound up. I just knew how many cool stuff is that out there. Well, and I want to first thank you all for listening, but I also want to give thanks to Joey. Joey's our producer. I try to throw a good word in for him every show. We couldn't do this without his help. He takes care of all of the ifs and ands and buts about it. He makes it look pretty. He puts it out there for me. So any of you folks out there want a good producer? You can't have mine. No, you get Joey a holler. I'll give you his number. Thanks, folks, for listening to our show. God bless you. We will catch you on the next turnaround. Have a great day.
Sponsored by Troy Galloway and Galloway Building Services, your top choice for professional home inspections in the St. Louis area. GallowayBuildingServices.com.